Good evening, good afternoon, morning, all over the world, wherever you are watching us from. Uh, this is BoomHerVoice Network. It's a platform that is committed to amplifying women's voices, empowering young leaders, and transforming nations. We believe these two aspects of people are very key in transforming nations. BoomHerVoice Network represents more than the sound. It stands for the woman's voice, her value, and her victory. It is a call to every woman to find her courage, her story, and step into spaces of influence and faith with authenticity. Uh, I want to welcome everyone to the platform, and I want to also assure us that it is not just a conversation space, it is a global movement. It's a space for leadership, for mentorship, development, and it's faith-driven, civic consciousness, and practical empowerment. We are delighted to have you join us from different parts of the world. And as we celebrate the International Women's Day, today's conversation is focused on rights, equity, and empowerment for all women and girls. At BoomHerVoice Network, we believe when women speak with courage and young women are empowered, society experiences real transformation. And that we believe that is anchored also on the International Women's Day that we are celebrating. The whole of March had been dedicated to women's celebration, and so this edition is also dedicated to women's celebration. Tonight, we are bringing an international woman, a woman of so many dimensions. But before we go that route, I want us to also know, a little about BoomHerVoice Network. That's why I just read that. And I want my sister that is on the platform tonight to quickly introduce the founder of BoomHerVoice in just a few words so that we also know that background. It's my pleasure to call on my sister, a colleague and partner in the business of development, Mrs. Janet Adebo, to say a few words about the founder. Thank you so much, my sister. You're welcome to the floor.
Thank you so much, Ma, and I want to specially welcome our honorable guests and everyone that is joining us today. We are very excited that you're here, and again, I'm here to introduce the Right Honorable Olubumni Adelugba, a distinguished chartered accountant, a tax professional, one whom I have known for several years and working in development, like she said, with over 30 years of experience across financial consulting, public services, and nonprofit leadership. She has been, on top of her game as a woman and also as a professional, tax professional, non-executive director in different aspects. She had made history, and I think I want to re-echo that part. She made history as the first female speaker of the Ekiti State House of Assembly. We want to recognize that, having previously served as a chief whip and a chair of the House Committee on Finance and Appropriation, as a commissioner and a special advisor in Ekiti State, she led innovations, revenue reforms, and pioneered Nigeria's first monthly stipend program for the elderly, strengthening social protection and in different systems. Internationally, she has served, and that's where I met this wonderful woman so many years back with ActionAid Nigeria and ActionAid International Cameroon, overseeing multi-country compliance, and in terms of financial reforms, she's been on top of that, and also helping with donor reporting. She has also provided principal consulting services to several Nigerian states on accelerated revenue generation. Right Honorable Olubumni Adelugba is a fellow and a member of several leading professional bodies. I'm not going to bore you with all those accolades and all those professional bodies that she belongs to, but I want to say that she is a member of the Chartered Institute of Accounting and also Chartered Institute of Public Finance and a member of Nigeria Institute of Management and many, 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 many more. And as a founder of the Milk of Kindness Development Foundation, she has supported women in different aspects and also vulnerable groups. She's an award-winning leader, and not just that, as she doubles in her spiritual aspect as well as her social life as a pastor in the Redeemed Christian Church of God. She is a mentor. She is a counselor. She's an advocate, a wife, a woman, a mother. She has so many things. So I want you to just on wherever you are, just look for the icon, the reaction button, and let's give a rousing welcome, a virtual applause to this wonderful woman, Right Honorable Olubumni Adelugba. You're welcome to this beautiful platform. BoomHerVoice has been there, and I think for those of us who were part of the first the inaugural launch, we saw how much we were all blessed. So just be open. You are here to learn, unlearn, and relearn as our guest unleash some of the things that has been placed on their hearts. So once again, you're all welcome. Over to you, Ma. God bless you. You're muted. We can hear you.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Adeba, for those so wonderful recognition. Thank you so much. Without wasting much time, I want to also introduce our speaker of tonight. This morning and afternoon, wherever you are watching us from, I want to give a brief introduction of the guest speaker of today, Mrs. Foluso Olaniyan, member of Order of Niger. OON. Mrs. Fola Olaniyan OON is an accomplished corporate leader, governance expert, and agribusiness strategist whose career spanned over 3 decades of impactful leadership across Nigeria and Africa. Mrs. Olaniyan is a recipient of the National Honor Officer of the Order of Niger, OON, awarded in recognition of her outstanding contribution to national development and corporate excellence. She has served in several high-level leadership and board roles, including independent director of Odu'a Investment Company Limited and as chairperson of Samsri International Company Limited, a leading agro-industrial enterprise-driven value addition in Nigeria cassava sector from 2000 to 2025. She also currently serves as a member of the Technical Committee of British American Tobacco Nigeria Foundation. She is also currently serves as a member of the Technical Committee of British American Tobacco Nigeria Foundation. She has served as an independent agribusiness consultant in Sub-Saharan Africa project, funded by donor agencies and DFIs like World Economic Forum, United States Trade and Development Agency, and basic BASICS funded by Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Her executive career includes serving as Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer of UTC Nigeria Limited, Nigeria PLC, where she led strategic growth and operational transformation in partnership with Federal Government of Nigeria on the agricultural transformation agenda from 2011 to 2013. A strong advocate of sound corporate governance, Mrs. Olaniyan holds a corporate director certificate from Harvard Business School Executive Education, underscoring her commitment to boardroom excellence and global best practice. She's a fellow of both the Chartered Institute of Management UK and the Institute of Directors. She's a member of the Governing Council of Institute of Directors of Nigeria. She is the current chairman of the Directors Department and Certification Committee. She served previously as chairman Agriculture and Agro-Allied Committee of the Institute from 2022 to 2024. Beyond her boardroom accomplishments, she has played advisory roles in major international and regional initiatives supporting agricultural transformation, youth empowerment, and private sector-led groups. Today, she brings to us deep insight into leadership, governance, and the power of strategic partnerships in driving sustainable development and advancing women through purposeful leadership. Join me tonight, this morning, this afternoon, wherever you are all over the world, to welcome Mrs. Foluso Olaniyan. Ma, you are warmly welcome to the platform of BoomHerVoice Network. Today is about rights, it's about equality and empowerment. That is the theme of the Women's International Women's Day, and March is dedicated to women. It's the month of women, and at BoomHerVoice Network, that is the business of giving women voices, empowering young leaders, and making sure that everyone has a voice. You are welcome, ma. Thank you so much. God bless you as you join us tonight.
Thank you, Honorable Mrs. Adelugba. Thank you, BoomHerVoice. I'm delighted to be here this evening, especially to, celebrate the International Women's Day with conversations today. And I'm sure we're going to have very deep conversations on how we can move the women folk forward on all angles, especially the three pillars you mentioned on rights, equality, and empowerment. Thank you, and I feel highly honored to be here to discuss these issues with you. Thank you, madam.
Thank you so much, man. You are warmly welcome. Thank you for your time. Thank you for giving this time to BoomHerVoice Network. I'm going to quickly dive into the questions. The first question I want to ask Suma, that as we celebrate International Women's Day in 2026, what does the theme for all women and girls' rights, equality, and empowerment really mean to you, ma? Hello, ma.
Hello,
Are you
I
hearing
can
me, ma?
hear. Yes, you were breaking, but I can hear you now.
Okay, you can hear me now. Okay, I said that the first question is, we know you that you are going to round all the topic that we are discussing about women's rights, equality, and empowerment. And I'm just asking that as we celebrate the International Women's Day, what does the theme the rights, equality, and empowerment really mean to you, ma? You're not hearing me.
The International Women's Day to me is a day to remind the world that women and girls matter, their lives matter, whether they belong to, this country, this race, regardless of their social status, regardless of their location, regardless of who they are, their lives matter. And girls and women, they are in different categories. There are some that belong to the upper class, medium class, lower class. But that International Women's Day is a day for celebrating all women and, reminding the world that women's lives really matter. That's what it means to me. And it's a day to also, look at what can be done, what is yet to be done on empowering women, on making sure their rights are protected, and also to make sure that, they have equality with men in terms of the benefits and opportunities in life. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ma. That's quite instructive. Looking at your leadership journey, Ma, what major progress have you seen in women's participation in leadership across Africa?
Well, I must confess things have improved. A lot of gender activists have done a lot, and I think they've been able to achieve a lot. But I'm going to focus on a sector, as a case study. If you look at the banking industry, for example, in 2018, they had like just 18% women in top positions on the boards. And, it carried on like that, but with a lot of activism. By 2022, it moved on to 25% of women on boards and in executive positions. And then by 2025, it's gone up to 35%. Today, I think we have about 9 women who head banking institutions, and that's a far cry from what it used to be. So I think a lot of progress has been made. I'm specifically narrowing to the banking sector so that, as a case study, we know that that's a sector that has done very well in terms of empowering women. And I was looking at some data, which actually surprised me, that even in the banking industry, the totality of the workforce, women have close to 60% currently in Nigeria. So that's a huge achievement in the banking sector. And maybe CBN policies aimed at having women, intentionally in top positions has helped this, and activities of gender activists. But the banking sector has done very well as far as, empowering women, ensuring they have equal opportunities and rights are concerned. So I would rather use a successful story. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Thank you so much, Ma. Really appreciate that. It's good to know that at least the banking industry is really doing well compared with other sectors. I must agree with you that banking sector, women are doing very well at the banking sector. Thank you so much, Ma. At BoomHerVoice Network, we believe every woman has a voice. And I want our audience to reflect on this. What does empowerment mean to you as as an audience on this platform? I want us to begin to drop our thoughts on the chats so that we can prepare to share, so that you can share with others. What do you really mean? What does empowerment really mean to you as one of the best people that are participating on this segment, this moments? Thank you so much once again. I want to go to another segment now. I want to go to a segment of women rights and equality. So continue. What are the most critical barriers women still face in assessing equal opportunity today? Women still face a lot of barriers. Can you just let us into some of those barriers? That you are exposed to. Thank you, ma'am.
Well, one, I know cultural and traditional barriers exist because of culture. Women from the past have been raised to believe they should be, submissive, not be too forward. You must be seen as a good girl. Those are cultural things over the years. And, for you to come from the back and want to make your voice heard, sometimes some very deep and cultural people may see it as being forward. So those can serve as barriers. And those who are not bold will just rather not take a back seat, but they'll just rather not rock the boat. That's one barrier. Another barrier is that even in the hinterland, there's still limited access to education. Some traditional people see it as though, you train a girl child When she graduates, she goes to her husband's house and he takes the benefits of the education. So they'll rather train the male child. Well, there's a lot of campaign that has been going on to let people have a change in that mindset. But it still exists, not in the urban areas, but in deep down in the hinterlands. That's another challenge. And if you deny a girl child education, honestly, it's as bad as murder because you block her from the world that could be ahead of her. So that limited access to education is also a problem. Then financial constraints. In some aspects of our culture, women are seen as not having any right to inheritance. So, and you see your inheritance, your background offers you like your first major cushion that, I'm the daughter of this person. At least my father has worked, he has some savings. But when the culture says you're a girl, it belongs to the first son or it belongs to the boys. Some people are still that culturally inclined that you're holding meetings and they're like, what do you have to say? It's the men that are talking. That's one of the other barriers, but women are standing against it. And it also gives women a bit of challenge. And then that gender discrimination and bias affects women mentally, except those who are strong or raised in a very enlightened environment. It affects them, it makes them withdraw into their shell. That's one barrier. And then balancing family and leadership, even if you get access to education, have a good job, most women who are now raising families, they have a challenge balancing family and leadership responsibilities. Like the banking sector I mentioned, work may require they stay late at work, but they have to go home and attend to their families. And that's a big challenge because it's difficult for them. And then their work may take them outside their station, they have to travel. Then they have to choose between that and childcare, taking care of their kids. They could get nannies, but also that could affect their relationship with their children. So that's another barrier. Demanding work hours, unusual work hours is also a barrier that affects women having balanced life in professional work. And then limited representation and role models. The more women you have at the top, the more role models young girls can draw experience from. But if the banking sector has done well, there are other sectors. If they don't have more women at the top, who are the people that would mentor the younger ones coming? Because there's just so much a mentor can take. If you mentor four ladies and you also have your own career, the time you spend with them will be better quality time than if you had like 20 mentees that you had to deal with. So it's important for us to have more women at the top so that, there'll be more quality knowledge passed down from mentors to mentees. So limited representation and role models is still an issue. So we should target, like those who want to go into politics, how many women do you have in the Senate, in the House of Reps, as local government chairmen? So women who want to go into politics, if they have limited role models that can guide them, how much knowledge will they get, to
Yes.
empower them to say, okay, we've learned enough, we can now go into the field. So that's another
Mm.
issue, another barrier women face.
Yeah.
Because of our nature, most women, you're a lady, there's just little to what you can do. But our politics in Nigeria sometimes involves violence and harassment. That's also another problem. The physical strength to defend yourself is not there. So once you know there's going to be an outing that's going to be a bit rough and there could be violence, you are already withdrawing because you don't want to go into a rough environment. So those are a few of the barriers that, prevent
Thank
women
you.
from really flourishing and getting what they want at the top. So I just
Thank
discussed
you.
it
Yeah.
across corporate, politics, banking, and traditional.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you
Yeah.
so much, man. We really there are really a lot. But I know that women, even when we have a lot of women that we can look up to as mentors, role models, there are still some things that government can also do to ensure that women's rights are protected. Very few, just let us into very few step that government can actually do, practical step that government can do to protect women's
Well,
rights.
government is powerful, and policy actually drives initiatives and intentions. Like I said earlier, I give a lot of credit to the societies, the gender activists who have been pushing for so many bills to be passed. You were Speaker of the House, so you know the number of bills you passed to support women. It's what government can do is to, be intentional about the number of women that will be in position of influence to influence policy that will support women. It's women that feel the pain of other women. They get it, they identify with it. So government should come up with policy that, should intentionally say we should have 30% of women in maybe arms of government or even institutions or parastatals that are about women affairs. Those who will write policies is so important that intentionally they put a certain number of women there. And then also in education, apart from policy making, women are built through a process. In universities, there should be intentionality about how women rights should be protected because they're growing with men there. It should be clear to the boys that, look, women are equal. You don't bully a woman. And if you do, we have a register for offenders. So mere harassing a woman or threatening her peace, once she has evidence and she reports you, it will be put down. Because what we're saying, most families have male, female. They are brothers and sisters in the family. So the man harassing another woman is somebody's brother, and that person has a sister. So another thing we can do is to, government can start an enlightenment program where boys are also trained, boys are guided on how to respect women folk. Traditionally, people just say once you have a girl child, she must be successful, she must marry well, and then the boys are pampered. I think the reverse should be the case now. A lot of boys need guidance, they need to be trained, they need to be encouraged to treat women well. And in families, if a brother is bullying a sister, honestly, parents should rise up and, stand in defense of the girl, that the girl child is not inferior. In fact, a lot of girl children have done their parents very proud, more than the male ones. So government should put policy in place, and then the society too should be reorientated. And it's government that can actually push that orientation, that program. They'll do a lot of enlightenment that children are equal, and that should also help in protecting the girl child.
Thank you very much, Ma. Indeed, Public enlightenment is so important, whether with government or with organization the women are working with. Women rights to be protected. We need public enlightenment. You know, some people don't even know what they should do. So we need that. Then it's talk about policy driven. And this has to be intentional. And I just saw someone that said affirmative action, which is it has to be intentional. It has to be declared that this is what should go. But affirmative action uh, should be guided. At this point, we will take one or two audience questions on women's rights and equality before we proceed. I think our moderator can go into the questions room now. Just raise your hand if you know that. Maybe what we should first do is to look at the chat room. There are a lot of suggestions that's been on the chat room. Let us just look at the chat room if there's anyone that we need, because we have said we really want it to be interactive. Some people have dropped some questions. Is Madam Janet
there?
And serving body.
Please
please
mute yourself.
Sense of God is simple.
Okay, I tried to mute that person, hopefully. So there are quite a number of comments, but we do have a question. So are we to go to the question, or I just read out the comments?
Let us read out the comments and also ask the question quickly.
Okay. By Dr. Ola Kukoyi, she said, empowerment means to be valued. My opinions, because I think the question was, what does empowerment mean to you? So she said, empowerment means to be valued, my opinions matter, and given the opportunity to achieve my highest potential. I also said women empowerment means enabling women and girls to have freedom, confidence, resources, and opportunity to fully participate in society and make decisions about their lives and community. And let women breathe, let them grow, lead, and live life without limits. Mrs. Olakpeju Babafemi said, I work in the Ekiti state government. To me, it's about providing everything women need to fulfill their potential and contribute meaningfully to society development. Adesulu Modukpe, Mrs. Adesulu Modukpe said, to me, empowerment means giving female gender a voice in peculiar situations where they have been limitations as compared with their male counterparts. And there's a question. The question is by Mrs. Ime Enang. She said affirmative action is one way, but how can we ensure that this is not tokenism? How can that be prevented? So it's not a token, I guess that's what she meant. So how can we prevent that? I think that's about it. Okay, yes, I do have one more comment. Mrs. Abosede said, women empowerment means enabling women to have equal voice, equal choices, and opportunity in all ramifications. Over to you, ma'am.
Okay, I think
hear the question well. Okay, I think Honorable Adelugba would answer the question. I think she wants to answer.
I think you should repeat where is the question? I'm trying to look at it.
The one by Ime Enang.
I sent it to you. Yes, I sent it to you, but I'll read it again. She said, affirmative action is one way, but how can we ensure that it is not tokenism? How can that be prevented? And if she's there, she can just unmute herself to clarify further.
Yes.
Good evening, everyone. Please.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, ma'am.
Thank you for this, and thank you, Mrs. Olaniyan. Yes. So, many countries have declared and made policies towards affirmative action. But when it's now time to appoint the ladies, sometimes you find that those that you know that are strong voices, we know that are very qualified, for those positions, are then not appointed. So it now looks like tokenism. So you've asked for a female, here is one. At times the ladies then have to learn on the job. At times that they're quiet, which means that their impact will be limited. So what is possible? How can we push? How can women make themselves more visible so that these kinds of just appointing because you say appointing because you want female then does not happen? That's what I meant. Or we appointing women for the sake of just appointing women. That's what I meant.
I think there are so many.
Okay,
I'm sure why.
Hello, it's lovely to meet you.
Wow. So what I would say is that women should target the table where those decisions are being taken. When it comes to making appointments, there is a group, there is a table where the decisions are being made. And which takes me back to what I mentioned earlier. A certain percentage of women should be at that top table, and they should be credible women. It's easy to say, well, tokenism, they'll just say you want a woman, we've given you a woman. That's where the women associations, the professional ones come in. That's where they can, lend their voice and say, we have competent people, we have competent hands, they'll be respected, their voice will be listened to. And if their voice can get to the top table where the decisions are being taken, then they'll know that, there is at least a minimum. For example, they could have people specifications. If you want to appoint women to certain key positions, they should have like minimum education, minimum exposure, what it takes. And once you have that checklist and they tick the checklist, honestly, one person's choice may not be another person's choice. But at least if there's a checklist and there's a standard that is agreed upon, at least they would get somebody that is competent. It may not be the popular choice, but they would know that there's a minimum standard. So developing that checklist and letting it find its way to the top table where decisions are being made is what is important. That's the way I say it. I think that's a strategy.
Yeah.
I don't know if Honorable Adelugba wants to also
Thank you. I like I said, when you talk about tokenism, a lot of people will look at it in several ways. Like after declaring with intention, after declaration that these women should occupy one position or the other, you find out that people that comes up or the people that are being selected may actually not be the people that are capable. That's why the fact that want women to occupy spaces, it's good for us to be able to present people that will be able to do the real responsibility attached to the table. So for me, you have actually done justice to the question. It's good for us to have selection process, fair selection process, and also participatory. Make it participatory. Let us ensure that we all have equal voices. Let us ensure that there is a process attached to it. What is the opportunity? Is ability matching the opportunity? People that have the ability should be presented, so that we don't just only have women there, but we have people that will be there and they will be able to give that representation very well. So we should be able to build an inclusive culture. Not just promote, that promote respect, collaboration, and openness where diversity is also valued. So what Madam Mainea said is, is everywhere there. Even this issue of open beer, extra seats and all the rest, people have been looking at it. When you provide the extra seats, are you sure it's not going to just be given to people that are not even worth it? But what can we do? But let us just start somewhere. That's what we always conclude. At least let us start somewhere and we'll continue to adjust. Thank you so much for everyone that has participated. Thank you so much, our speaker, for your time. With BoomHerVoice Network, we like to also talk about the young people coming along. So from there, we want to also learn from your boardroom experience. What leadership qualities must women develop to succeed at top levels? Thank you, ma'am.
Right. To survive and thrive on a board, empathy is important. Seeing things from the point of perspective of others, being a listening ear, and then resilience. You have to be resilient, if you want to survive on the board, because challenges would come, and there'll be issues, there'll be times when you have to stand your ground, which may not be a comfortable situation, but you have to do it. And you don't display emotions on the board. What has to be done has to be done. And you do it according to corporate governance laws, but perspectives, that's why I said empathize with the different stakeholders, look at things from their perspective, be a listening ear so that you take the right decisions. And then integrity is also important. Do what is right, keep your hands clean. Once that is done, you are able to speak and stand for the truth. So those are key in staying on the board, staying clean, and thriving on the board. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Will you say that, what will you say about corporate governance and gender equality and accountability? How can corporate governance strengthen gender equality and accountability?
Yes, diversity is something that's been promoted now for a while in corporate governance. You realize now these days that most boards are made up of both men and women. In the past, you will see boards of just men, but there is an intention now in governance that there is diversity on boards because women have what they bring to the table. And most boards now, you'll see that at least you have 30, 70%.
Are you hearing me? Is anybody hearing me?
So, and once you're on the board, you are all equal on the board. Whether you're a woman, you're all equal. You all have access to the chairmanship seat if the process involves voting. So it's making it there. Once you get there, you have equal rights. And corporate governance has, put a good step forward such that it's compulsory now that you must have diversity on the board. Not diversity of professions, diversity of the humans there. So women must also be on the board, at least a certain percentage. So I think that has helped. It has helped.
Okay.
And
Thank you, ma'am.
most companies are doing better now with that diversity.
Thank you so much, ma'am. We know that a lot of women prefer to sit at the back they have a lot of in their mind that they are not, letting out. They prefer to sit at the background with what they have in mind and not able to. So what mind shifts is required for women like this to be able to come out confidently to step into leadership roles?
Well, I always say charity begins at home. As mothers, we should always let our daughters know they are not inferior. You build the confidence of your girls right from home. And then for those who are already out there who probably didn't have that confidence from home, be confident, build your capacity, make sure you're on top of your game, keep learning. I always tell people knowledge is power. Improve yourself. There are so many skills you can acquire. So the more you acquire skills, the more proficient and efficient you are. So why will you not be confident? Stand up for your rights. And if there is a position that is vacant and you know you have the skill set, go for it. I tell people the worst thing that can happen is for them to tell you, no, you didn't make the interview. We are taking somebody else. But I'll still put my head in there and give it a shot. And that's what I'm telling every woman. Don't sit back. Nobody will come and serve you power or position a la carte. You got to get up and go for it. But build your capacity, keep learning, widen your network, because that helps too. One thing is to have the competence and the skill. Another thing is for you to be given references by people that matter. So, when all that comes together as a bouquet, you have, the package to succeed. So don't
Thank you
sit
so
back.
much, ma.
Stand there.
Competence.
You are
Yeah.
not superior to anybody.
You need to build competence. You keep learning. On learning, there is need for it. And also build your network. Most of the time, women, we don't know how to build network. And I also discovered that some women, the network they build at a period of time, they also lose the network. I want to encourage us as women that when we build network, we should sustain it. And somehow, why some women are not able to sustain such network is maybe due to marriage, they just change their names, and because they are changed their name, people don't know them. So we need to have a way of strengthening it so that we know that people see put us so that network is not broken at any point in time. Thank you so much, ma. God bless you. Like I said, the young one would like to empower them. So economically, women, somebody said, well, I mean, we always say that when a woman is trained, you train a nation. And when women have economic power, family, community, and nation are affected. How can empowering women economically transfer? What are those things? What are the opportunities that exist today for women and young leaders to be able to to be able to transform economically, and especially in the sector that you are in, like agriculture and entrepreneurship sector? What opportunity exists for women, and so that they'll be able to empower their families and the community? Just like we know that women, where we are giving a space, it's like we are giving a space to so many people. Women now, they have the opportunity to, spread whatever it is it's with them.
You're
Hello, are you
muted,
hearing
ma.
me? You are muted.
Okay, can you hear me now? Yes.
Yes.
I said charity begins at home. So the first thing, as a woman, for you to contribute to economic development, you can actually get discounts from your family food bill. When you grow your food in your garden, instead of going to the market to buy everything, if you grow your tomatoes, your vegetables, one thing is certain, you get better quality, fresher quality, and you save money. So it's like getting a discount of your food bill. So that's one. And then when you look at the multiplier effect, that would help the economy. That's one. And then secondly, there's so many projects that are out there, so many organizations that support women in agriculture. Like the MasterCard Foundation, they have a Songhai MasterCard Youth Agric Empowerment Scheme for rural women. And about 12,000 people they want to empower women. And this initiative is such that they will also give intensive internship to women to learn practical agricultural skills. So they expose them to a boot camp, and 70% of the young people that will participate in that project are going to be women. And they learn crop production, aquaculture, food processing. And it's free tuition, free accommodation, and they also give them seed funding. So that's one project of MasterCard Foundation. There's the Babangona Greek franchise as well, financial inclusion, capacity building, and mentorship. So several projects exist, and all this information is out there in on the internet. And most of these organizations do reach out. They work with some ministries of agriculture and Ministry of Youth Development in states. So there are lots of opportunities out there. I just mentioned this few. And if the young people can latch on to this, you can imagine the first one is 12,000, the other one is 3,000. That's 15,000. And if you empower and train 15,000, look at the multiplier effect. One will impact 4 people. So there's several more projects like that for young people. The Bank of Industry, our Bank of Industry, also they have funding to support young people in agriculture. So it's just for the young people to decide on what they want to do and what part of the sector they want to play in, and then do the research on where they can get the funding and support. But most of these, 70% of the funding is targeted at women.
Thank you so much, ma. So economic empowerment and development is guaranteed for our young women and even the young ones. At this point, I want us to pause again and allow if there's any young entrepreneur or professional in the audience to ask questions, or if there's any question that has been dropped or suggestion or contribution of the group or the chat room. This is a time that we can quickly look at that so that we make it participatory. Madam Janet.
Yes, ma. I only have one more additional comment by someone with a Samsung phone, I guess. She said, women empowerment to me is all efforts geared to give a woman voice and for them to attain financial independence. So I think we'll just open this up for anyone. You can just raise your hand. Look at the reaction button. There is there right in the middle after the chat. Click on it and you'll see raise hand. Click on that and unmute yourself and ask your question. Over to you.
Is there anyone that have a question? Okay. Good to know that there are opportunities that exist for young entrepreneurs and professionals that we can
I see a hand, ma'am. I see a hand, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes,
there's a hand. Please, ma'am, you have the floor.
Yeah, hi everyone, and thanks for having me. I'm really impressed by this this panel and all the information that has been shared. My name is Mrs. Olakukoyi. I'm calling from Colorado, and I just want to say that we still have a long way to go when it comes to women empowerment in Nigeria, especially in the place of widows. A lot of widows are still not empowered, especially when they have to go through the challenges of raising family that once their husband passes away, and some extended families think it's their right to own properties or to take over whatever the man has left. That has really impoverished a lot of widows. So I have a passion towards that area. That's why I would love to know what other things we can put, or strategies we can put in place to make sure that widows are empowered. Thank you.
Thank you, ma. There's somebody, okay, is this the same person that, thank you so much, ma. There's another hand. Is there another hand or is this same hand? Madam Janet?
I don't see another hand. I think
Okay, maybe
so. We
it's the
can just
same.
take a response for Ms.
Ma, do you have anything to say on the question, ma?
Yes, no, it's her views on widows. And what she said is so important because they are part of the most vulnerable group. One, they have the responsibility of taking care of children. They have no cover. The husband is gone, and then they may be harassed by family. So I think this is an aspect that needs a lot of attention, like she said. Enlightenment would help, to enlighten families on how to treat widows. But sometimes, if you don't have something in place to enforce whatever you are enlightening people on, they will just listen and go. It will be like a talk shop. So I think this is also an area where policy can play a role. Most widows, by the time they're widowed, they are already beaten. They can't even stand to protest sometimes. They just take what comes to them. But if they know there are laws or there's an office they can go to when they lose their husbands, there's an office or a center where they can go for guidance, for support, for protection, I think it would help. So just like we say women who are abused can go and report in centers, there should also be a desk that would attend to widows. And there should be a lot of enlightenment on that because whether we accept it or not, there's so many widows. Every day somebody passes away and the wife becomes a widow. So I think government should be intentional about that, to have an office or a desk where widows can go to for support. And government can take it up from there to see how they can help them, whether a widow is being harassed by a husband's family or someone that people owed her husband money before he died and want to now capitalize on that, not to pay back, how they can support her to retrieve the money, how they can help with giving grants to the woman's children. Even if government cannot pay everything, if they give a grant that will cover maybe 40%, that would help the woman and help the children who may have been devastated. So, a terms of reference can be put together, and everything that needs, the conditions that need to be met, to benefit from the opportunities of such a desk from government should be put in place, and that office set up, because widows really need support. And if mothers are not happy, it affects children. So the widow needs to be comforted, and they will feel a sense of belonging and security if they know that there is a government office that attends to widows. So that's what I think will be the next step, a practical one, if governments can do this. So the gender activists can push for this. After this event, we can actually do a communique and share with ministries of women affairs, if they can have a widow's desk, to help them with legal services, financial services, even counseling, so they don't go into depression. That's
Thank you,
my
ma.
thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you, ma. I think we have actually touched everyone, every part, empowerment, letting them know their rights, government providing support for them, even faith-based, providing support for them, and also enforcing their force among the family is so important. Thank you so much, ma. We dive now into mentorship because BoomHerVoice Network is also very intentional about mentorship uh, and also what's the legacy. So right now we want to ask, how important is mentorship in shaping the next generation of female leaders?
Yeah, thank you. Mentorship is so important. In the corporate sector is so important because you are under a very pressured environment and there are decisions you need to take, and these decisions can directly affect the bottom line of the organization. It can affect the strategic vision of the organization. So it's important you take the right decision
Yeah,
for the interest of the organization.
finish it.
So mentorship, why it's important? I'm going to go back to the issue of case studies. There's so many things that have happened in companies in the past, good and bad. Most companies would have what you call a risk register that lists all the risks they've gone through in the past. And then there are successes. So there are case studies, and all these happenings were not done by robots. It's human beings that pass through these different phases in these organizations. So they have experience. They know that if you do this, it ends like this. If you do this, you end up like this. And these are the steps you take to avoid this kind of trouble. So mentorship is important. And when you're coming into a leadership role, and you know there are people who have gone ahead of you to run organizations, people who have gone through troubled waters and come out safe and stronger, you can go to them so that you don't have to, re go use recycle
Reinvent
your
the wheel.
problems. You don't reinvent the wheel. It's already there. So you talk to your mentors ahead of you. When you had this issue with policy, how did you handle it? When you had this issue with tax people, how did you handle it? When you had this problem with the union, how did you handle it? So mentorship is very important. And if you have people you can talk to, they'll guide you so that you get to your destination faster and safer than someone who has no one to guide them. So that's the benefit of mentorship. And if you have mentors, you excel. Things get better for you. You achieve more results. You are more efficient because the percentage of mistakes you make will be very small because you have people guiding you. So that's what I see as how mentorship can shape the next generation of female leaders. It makes them more accurate, more efficient. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much, ma. Very much appreciate all those responses. Looking at you, ma, we admire your role all over the places and the leadership that what you have achieved. Well, personally, what leadership principle do you think have guided your success over these years?
Yeah.
Do, do you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. I didn't hear
Okay,
what you
okay.
said last.
All right, sorry about that. I said, looking at you, we admire your roles that you've been all over the places and all over the years that you have steadily been on leadership. What leadership principle do you think have guided? Do you want to share with us that have guided your success over these years?
Well, one thing that I always put at the back of my mind is when I take up a new role, I always remind myself that it's for a limited time and that I have a limited time to prove myself and make my mark. And that after that first day, one day is already out of the time I'm going to spend in that position. So I must give my best every day. And also the issue of mentorship, I don't joke with those ahead of me. And I always ask questions. I engage a lot. I ask questions, I listen before I take decisions. But even though I listen, I still am conscious of the time I have. So I take accurate decisions and I don't waste time because most times decisions you over delay, is worse than, not doing anything at all. So I try to consult, knowing I don't have much time, and I make sure, I listen to so many voices, stakeholders that will be affected by my decision before I take the decision. But I move fast. Speed is important because we always have limited time in positions. And what I hate the most is to leave and say, oh, I should have done this. So when we're conscious of time, we do what we need to do fast, but we give our best.
Thank you so much. Hit the ground running. There is no time to waste. And every time, every day, you live every day as if you don't have time. You do your best all the time. And also, you also look at mentorship as very important. I always tell people that when you have somebody that you can look up to, the rate of your mistake will be reduced. And if you don't have people ahead, it means you are going to be the one that will be forging, try and error will be a lot of try and error. But you look at people before you, you run with speed, and also you engage. It's so important in mentoring. And thank you so much for that. And everyone wants to leave a legacy, and particularly want to know the kind of leadership you hope to leave for women and young leaders across Africa. What is going to be your legacy? What legacy do you want to leave behind?
Well, I want to leave a legacy of excellence that, I gave my best within the ambit of corporate governance, that I made an impact in every role that I found myself, and that I believe in the leadership of women. So I think I have done my own bit in making my mark. So I want people to remember that, I was a corporate leader who had a lot of integrity, excellence, resilience, and I tapped into mentorship to achieve the excellence.
There's a
And
question
young
in the chat.
women too can do the same.
There's a question in the chat room. Can you read it for us, please?
Yes, ma'am. The question is, some women do not enjoy the support of their husbands to attain a leadership position without losing their marriage or their home. And the question is, how can a woman who is striving to attain but do not have the support of her husband push through? This is from Mrs. Dupe Bakari.
Yeah, this happens. In fact, it happens a lot. And you realize that it happens in a situation where the man feels insecure. And a lot of women who would have turned out as stars, just end up not making it because they have a partner who's probably insecure and doesn't make them flourish. But like I said, you see, life comes in different angles. And part of what leadership entails is being able to discover the strategy that works for you. It may not be the best, but it will give you the best opportunities that are available to you. It will allow you tap into those opportunities. Even those women whose husbands support, they have challenges somewhere else that overwhelm them. So I always tell people, look at the cup half full, not half empty. Yeah, the man may, throw barriers and problems at you. You should find a way to navigate, get a support system, could be from your family, to help you balance it out. Usually at the end of the day, when you're successful, the whole family benefits. And you forget the trouble you went through. Maybe you try to make the man more secure that whatever it is for the benefit of the family. And something else that I know has worked for a couple of women is they ask the man, especially if the man has a daughter, would you want your daughter to succeed? If someone was stopping your daughter from attaining this position, how would you feel? That's when you throw that card, it works a lot. So maybe it's a great benefit to have a girl child. I'm not saying blackmail, but these are tools you can use to say, you know what, this is your daughter you love so much. The kind of cooperation you're giving to me, is that what you want her to get, or you want her to get more than this? And usually I think that card, it works. You may be able to pull it off with that. So no situation is permanent. Just, find a way to navigate, but focus on where you're going. That's what will drive you to be innovative on the strategy you use to get to where you're going. Thank you.
That's a very big question. How can a woman who is striving to attain do not have the support of her husband push through? It's heavy, and it's just like our guest concluded. It has to thank God that everybody know that I'm a faithful man. It has to be with God. It has to be, I always tell people, strengthen the relationship between you and God. The Bible says that the head of every man is God. So ask the head to talk to the man. So and also in the process, I will not advise that anyone should lose his talent, the skill that God has given to, because this is something most people, even though they are in the house and being obedient, they are very unhappy. Some women even go into depression. Some women even go to suicidal. So it's something that has to be managed. It's something that's, and I always tell people, the most important thing is that love yourself. It's so important. So what do you do? Self, check yourself first. What do you do? Like our people will say, when you look to the front and to the back, and there is nobody with you, what will you do? Nobody can tell you leave your husband, nobody can tell you leave your job, but assess everything and also be very prayerful. It's so important. And also strengthen your skill, because tomorrow is nobody knows tomorrow. that note, I believe that if there's any audience that want to contribute to this question, I want you to just let us see your hand up if you want to contribute to that question. If there's anyone that wants to do that, can do that now. And also we have this question segment that if there's anyone that still have, okay, we have somebody's hands up. Madam Olakukoyi, please, can you just share some light to it?
Yeah, thank you for whoever asked that question. It's a very important question, and it has to do with our cultural background, and it depends on the culture. And also it depends on the relationship that between husband and wife, either before they got married or when they got married. What were the aspirations they had for each other, and were they it was there an understanding that you are going to support me and I will support you. Because if a man really loves his wife, he wants her to succeed. And like all of us have known, that when a woman succeeds, it's for the family. So that's one thing I think the woman should be able to address and know: does this man love me? Does this man support me? And also, how do you package what you're trying to do? Somebody already has said it. Make sure that he's seeing the benefit, not because even if you bring about the daughter, that he could say, well, that's my daughter, and that's not you. You are my wife. So he might even want to say, my daughter is different from you. But also prayerfully, like my sister said, it is so important because the heart of the king is in the Lord's hands. So he can reach out. When as a married woman myself, there are some things that are controversial or challenging that I don't bring just like that to my husband. I go on my knees first and pray about it and say, God, if you're in this, you'll make this happen, because God is the one that opened doors. And if God wants that woman to succeed out, which I know he does, and wants that woman also to go in that route, he will make a way. He will touch that man's heart. Another thing you might also look at, maybe he has a very good friend who is close to him. You might want to go through that route as well, and so that the man could be counseled to see the importance of supporting his wife. These are just my 2 cents. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ma. We have Mrs. Kende. There's one Kende. Please, you can unmute yourself and speak.
Thank you very much. I think I want to commend some of the organizers of this program. It is very important that we also start training men from boys, letting them know the importance of women in the home, letting them start to know the importance of women in the office. I quite agree with what all the speakers have said, but I think in going deeper, I've had this real thought about this topic and about these issues. And I think for we parents, both men and women now, we should start by catching our boys young before they become men. Let them know that their wives are equal to them, they are partners in progress, and that the success of a woman, as the speaker has said, will also radiate on the entire family. So in a nutshell, we must start to teach the boys the importance of support for women and the importance of equality of both men and women, especially in the modern corporate world. Women are now CEOs, women are managers. They take on responsibilities that some men cannot even take, and they do it successfully. So, but we know that it's a cultural thing. For us to break the jinx, we must continue to start to train the boys when they are young. Let them have that conscious effort of the importance of a woman or the role of a woman in a home, in the office, and in the community at large. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. I thank you for also joining us. I think I think we should also, there's a lesson learned here that we should also make this platform, also gender inclusive. Because hearing that from a man, I guess that's a man that's spoken to us, and that's a genuine voice, and that is it's also important. An important point has been made that we should train our boys before they become men, because it's a boy that you train today that will also give another woman comfort tomorrow. Every woman in a home is supposed to support, it's just supporting. And whatever that woman brings in, even if it is not giving the woman money again, or the woman is able to have independence or be able to do some one thing or the other, is contributing to the home. Thank you so much for all the questions, and I believe that anyone that asks us questions like this in future will have what it takes to give the right answer. And thank you once again, our guests, for being with us at BoomHerVoice. BoomHerVoice, like I said, is giving voices to women. Believe that every woman has a voice, every woman has a strength, and every woman has a story to tell. And you'll be hearing the story of our speaker tonight, how he has been able to navigate the boardroom, how he has been able to sustain even being at the leadership cadre. It is not something that's to be pushed around. He has learned by the rope, and getting to the top, he's able to sustain being at the top. It is something to learn from. So in closing, as we mark International Women's Day today, what final message would you like to share with women and especially girls globally?
Well, to my fellow women, my message is you are special. You can achieve your dreams. You belong to the table at the top. Go for it. And then to the girls, you're special. You are not inferior to anyone. You can grow to become women of valor. And there's nothing you put your mind to that you cannot achieve. In some African countries today, if we count, about 24 women have served as either heads of state or top government officials, prime ministers in 18 African countries. So those are women, young girls, you can aspire to get there. So that's my message. Look at people like Kamala Harris, who became the first female vice president of the United States. There's nothing you put your mind to that you cannot achieve. So go for your dreams. And happy International Women's Day.
Happy International Women's Day, ma. My voice, at BoomHerVoice, we don't just go on straight line, and as much as possible, we're also open to interaction. I want to turn the table a little slightly, and that BoomHerVoice conversation are mutual. So want to also ask, before that, if there's any person that needs clarification, if there's anyone that wants us to, if there's any question that you believe, if there's any question that you believe that still want to, before I turn the table slightly, you can have the floor now by just raising your hand and ask our guests any question you want to ask. If not, I am turning the table slightly and I want to ask our girls, is there any clarification? Is there anything level that you think BoomHerVoice should go to? Or what's, kind of interaction do you want to have with BoomHerVoice right now? Thank you, ma. You can ask BoomHerVoice any question you want us to respond to. Ma,
I
you have
have
the
a
floor.
question.
Yes, ma.
Honorable Adelugba, I have a question for you.
Yes, ma.
I want to just ask you a couple of questions. As the first female speaker of Ekiti State House of Assembly, did you experience any hostility? And how did you navigate the terrain till the end of your tenure? I'm just curious.
Thank you so much. Yes. Yes, being the first speaker, female speaker of Ekiti State House of Assembly, naturally, yeah, with my colleagues, naturally there are a lot of challenges that came with that position. Politics, especially legislative leadership, has traditionally been made, dominated. And for a long time, there hasn't been anybody that is female, that is a woman that is occupying that position. So there were moments of, being skeptical, resistant, and high expectation. People expect, even what they can't get with a man. The expectation, they expect you to be able to do it. Some people are not sure how a woman will handle the position. They are not sure whether this is possible or it's not possible. But one thing I always tell people, just like you told us tonight, that step into the position. It's not issue of it's not the issue of it's not issue of a woman or a man. It's actually it's about integrity. It's about the capacity. It's about the fact that you have to prove yourself as a leader. You need to prove yourself. You need to also, look, think, read, and you also need to have a vision. It's not about gender. You need to have a vision. You need to not just sleep and say, oh, how am I going to approach this situation? So I remain focused on the responsibility of the office. So if you are not focused on the responsibility of the office and you are looking at the problem, you actually will not maintain anything. But you remain focused on the responsibility of the office. You maintain your respect and also you respect your colleagues, because like people say that respect begets respect. So ensure, and you also ensure that there is fairness. Don't look at it that they will understand that you are a woman. There's nothing like that. So you make sure that you're on top of your game at all times. It's so important. You make sure that you're on top of a game. And I was able to navigate the terrain through, dialogue, collaboration, and I have a strong commitment that the role of law of the institution, you know the law of the institution, most of the things. You may not know all the books, the book that we use, but you are handy. You have at your right hand the necessary passages that you use all the time for your job. That is equipping yourself with the necessary tools that will make you succeed. So I as much as possible, I do that. I made it clear that speaker is not about the numbers. I mean, that as a speaker, I made it clear that the office must be served, by all members and the people in Ekiti State over time, with all this over time, with consistency. And in all the thing that you do, you are very transparent. Mutual respect will also help to build we were able to build trust. Within some time, the trust was built, and we're able to forge ahead. But most importantly, I rely on my faith. This is very important. I always tell people, whatever you are doing, make sure that your faith is important, and resilience. And before you know, I was able to secure the support of my colleagues and even my consistency. And by the end of my tenure, I believe the experience demonstrated that women can lead effectively at the highest level of governance. And just like our speaker said, that go for it. There is nothing, I believe that as far as I'm concerned, I don't believe there's any position that is too big for any woman to occupy. As long as a man can occupy it, you can also occupy it.
Thank you. One more question. What should government do to protect women's rights in politics? That's my last.
Yeah, so some of these things, this question, I think you have also answered during the process of the interview. It has to be intentional. It has to be by, policy. It has to be policy driven. And apart from that, it has to be something that's kind of affirmative, that women, this is okay, 3 senators are coming from each state, one of them must be a woman. I mean, the number of House of Rep, it is affirmative action. It has to be there. And there are so many things that affect women being in politics, we should mention. Issue of finance. If a woman doesn't have finance, it may not be able to function. So even though that in the past, I don't even think that those organizations are also coming up now. They provide means that, supporting women. Women can be supported, but most importantly, it's just affirmative action, making sure that all the political parties have this entrenched in them as they are being legislated. It can be legislated, and also ability to follow through those things that are legislated is also important. It's all very discouraged. I mean, women are not able to follow through, are not able to move forward when it comes to politics, because they believe that women can just be stopped. Women can, unlike men. When a woman become a chairman of a local government, after chairman of a local government, they can just ditch that woman because she doesn't
read some of the comments. Hopefully, there is a comment by Mrs. Adesulu Modupe. There is an organization that has been very passionate about women empowerment, especially widows. It's called IFTDO /CWE. In recent times, a lot of widows have been empowered. What the organization does is getting sponsorship from some companies that can support financially. And then the widows are carefully sourced for. Then a program is put in place to enlighten them and give a token to support their agricultural interests, especially, I think the example she gave is poultry. So in case you are interested in that, you want to look them up and, build your network, as our guest had said. So I don't know, has she joined us? Yeah, it must be her network.
Yes.
Yeah,
Well, I
let's
think
see.
we've actually run through all the questions.
Questions.
Just need her to give us
Closing
the
remark.
yes.
Yes.
Well, honestly,
So,
it's been a very good evening. Rubbing minds and hearing comments from fellow women. It's so important that we support one another, because that is what really makes women feel comfortable. You're in your comfort zone when you see a fellow woman that's been in the position of authority and she guides you. You can call her if you have issues, and then, she'll tell you her own experience and guide you on next steps to take. That consultation is so important. And I think women should give comfort to other women. I like this network. I like the conversations we've had. And I think they should be promoted more, especially with growing women who are aspiring to be leaders. So we're waiting for her to round up.
yes, ma. I think we want to commend such a phenomenal job that you have done answering those questions, ma. I hopefully she would join us, but we want to thank you so very much, ma, for making this a useful conversation, deliberation, dialogue, or whatever it is. And I think I enjoy the comments that there should be a communique, sort of a communique that goes out to policymakers, as per some of the discussions and decisions that has been made through these conversations. So I want to, on her behalf, hopefully, I don't know, she's trying to join. On her behalf, want to thank you, especially, Ma. We appreciate you. If you are wherever you are, just give some reactions to appreciate our guest speaker today. Just give a reaction, please. Show your love and just to thank her for, her time, all the answers. They were straightforward and she was speaking from experience, speaking from her heart. And so, Ma, we just want to truly appreciate you. And we do say that you have been a blessing and we will never forget a day like this. Thank you so much, Ma. And to
Thank you.
everyone, we want to thank you all for joining Boom Her Voice. If you look in the chat, there's a link to Boom Her Voice YouTube channel. We had our maiden edition some times ago, and now this is the second one. We are growing, and please go and subscribe to that channel. Our speaker today told us about building network. You never can know, you never can tell. Right here on this desk that you're seeing, this virtual desk, there are women who are across the table doing phenomenal job in their different places. So build a strong network. So you start by connecting with us, connecting on BoomHerVoice Network. The link is there in the chat, and we hope that we build a more formidable team. And going forward, we will take it, take on so many other challenges. And as we know, when women lead, there is a lot. The nation is better for it. So I'm so glad that we're all able to make it today. So without further ado, I would like to call on Ambassador Eniola Jaima to wrap up this. I'm so sorry to put you on the spot, Ma, but right now we don't know what's happening to Honorable Olubumni Adelugba's network. I hand it over to you, Ma. Thank you so much, Ma. I hope she's where she can unmute. Ambassador Eniola Jaima, if you can unmute and just give us a last word while we close this platform. If you can unmute yourself, Ma. Okay, it's likely that she's not in a place where she can unmute. Okay, I'm just gonna go and see who else will call. I saw Mrs. Ene Obi. I don't know if she's still there. Okay. All right. Well, we're not going to allow network to be the issue right now. So thank you so much, everyone. I appreciate your we all appreciate your coming. And yeah, she's trying to connect. I don't know what's going on. I think there's something wrong with her network.
Okay, so.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone. We appreciate you for coming. Thank you so much, Ma. God bless you. Thank you.
You too.
Thank you, Ma.
Bye. Have a good evening. Bye.
Thank you, Ma. Bye-bye, Ma.